We have Deepa Kaur with us, and it's my pleasure to welcome her here with us. As we are in a dynamic space where ideas come alive, where leadership doesn't get just discussed, but is experienced and redefined. So, with a passion of leadership that is both in global and transformative, Deepa has dedicated the last 18 years to empowering leaders from every walk of life. Having worked with over 33 lakh professionals across 80 countries, Deepa's unique approach combines a wealth of hands-on experience with an unwavering commitment to making leadership impactful, inclusive, and inspiring. She is a catalyst for change, helping leaders to not just follow paths but forge their own. After a successful career in aviation, Deepa turned her focus toward her true calling, that is, developing people. Through her work, she has built a legacy of high performing leaders who are reshaping the future of business with purpose and resilience. Deepa's training programs.
अर्जंट होती ही नाही तर अक्षय फॉर एक्झाम्पल जर फर्स्ट टाइम विपिन ऍक्सेस करत असतील तर प्रत्येकासाठी प्रोसेस आहे का
Avinash, can you please mute?
तो कोण होतात ते
Avinash.
काही
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Deepa's training programs like Jigsaw Discovery Tool, Workshop, and Game-Wise Leadership, her clients have seen measurable changes in terms of decision-making, team productivity, and even in sales. But beyond the numbers, what makes Deepa's work stand out is her commitment to ethical leadership and her unwavering drive for gender parity in leadership roles. Today, we are about to embark on an exciting journey with Deepa that bounds the challenge of our thinking, fuel our ambitions, and inspire us to approach leadership with the creativity and wonder often found in children. Deepa will dive into learning, innovation, and creativity from children, just as children see the world with fresh eyes, curious, fearless, and open to possibility. Deepa will guide us how we as leaders can reclaim this mindset and innovate and lead with authenticity and boldness. Over to you, Deepa.
Thank you so very much. First of all, Afrin, that was a very lovely introduction. Almost feels like you made my weekend. Okay. And hi, everyone. Good morning. How are you? I hope everyone is doing fine. So since this is going to be a virtual, it is a virtual setup, can we have a quick check in the chat box, right? As to, you can all hear me as well as see me. And you're also able to view the PPT that I'm sharing now. So just give me a double Y in the chat box, please. All right. And let's keep this interactive. Right. So I guess it's learning, innovation, and creativity from children. That's our main audience today, and not any one of us, but it's about the children or the child in us that we are going to look at. Okay, why is this coming this way? Just give me a second. Okay, wonderful. Okay, you can see my screen as well. Just give me, how do I change this panel here? Okay, right here. There you go. Yes, so please address me as Deepa throughout. And what we are really going to look is at few examples of creativity which has been thrived and supported from childhood onwards. We're going to look at some case study, and also how children mindset, when put at adult workplaces, how it creates wonders. And hopefully with one or two activities that I have intent to do with you all today, we will try to explore a little bit of creative side in ourselves. All right, so let's begin here. Any idea who this person is? Any idea? So if you know it, well and good. If you don't, just put it at end in the chat box, or you can speak as well. Tom Hanks, thank you, Arvindji. Tulika says no, okay. Anyone else? Prashant says John, interesting, okay. Anyone? No, I have no idea who it is. Okay, thank you, Kalyani. Okay. Do we know who he is? Okay, thank you, Shaya. So you can see two children in the picture. Any idea who this gentleman is? So when Afreen reached out to me that, Deepa, would you like to, do something with, topic on learning, creativity, and, innovation through children, the very first top of the mind recall came about Steven Spielberg. That's correct. A very interesting story. I remember watching a documentary of when Jurassic Park was made. And I was like, what makes Steven Spielberg such an amazing filmmaker from America that really changed the entire dynamics of the way movies were made? And a very interesting insight into his childhood was that at the age of 9 or 10, during one of the summer vacations, he was gifted one of the first cameras, the video camcorder. And once that he got in his hand, he started shooting everything around. Okay, right from his toys, he's Jewish, and his grandparents were Holocaust survivors, listening a lot of war stories. At the age of 13, he actually released his first movie, which is called as The Escape to Nowhere, which was a 40-minute movie, a war film. As an adult, he's gone ahead and created one of the timeless pieces, such as movies like Jaws, Extraterrestrial, and Jurassic Park. So I have a very fond memories. I remember it was a 5th summer vacation, and all cousins sitting together in my uncle's house, and we watched Jurassic Park on TV. And after that, coming at home, we always used to feel, pata nahi ghar ke kaun se kone se kaun sa dinosaur aane wala hai. And that was so real, right? So that was one childhood, I would say, mostly a talent or a creative aspect, but honed in the environment to give us a person to create such a masterpiece. All right. And so this is one, and I hope we have few Steven Spielberg fan, and we have all seen Jurassic Park movies, right? So this is one of the examples. Another person that I want you to meet or have a look at today is this boy. His name is Max Alexander, and currently today, I guess he's 9-year-old. He started stitching, okay, as an art to design clothes for his sisters and cousins around at the age of 4. During COVID is when his parents actually realized that this is the child that doesn't want to play with toys. All he does is he takes fabric, he feels the material, and he tries to dress his soft toys up. Of course, there is also a saying that an artist realizes when the other person is an artist. So thanks to Max's mother, he today has a full-fledged online store called as Max Coacher, where people send in their request and he creates a personalized designs for them. Okay, so let's look at the video on a day in a life of Max, that what all goes when he wants to design a garment or a clothing piece. Here you go. All right, so while I will show you what is in a day in a life of Max, do make observations on what is it that as adults we get to see and reflect while we watch this video. Okay, here we go.
we like that color.
Wow. Good girl.
Go down to beach, please.
Alrighty.
I'm stuck.
85.
Okay, thank you. This is the. Still need.
Okay. So collect your thoughts and feel free to unmute and speak.
Arvind says he is fearless. He's not shying away from this experimenting.
Shy away from experimenting. Thank you, Arvindji. Bahut badhiya. Anything else?
He loves the way he is doing. He loves it and he's enjoying the work he's putting into. And when he hugs it, it is just amazing.
Of the legends. And so is Max Alexander in making. Some people who are into hypnosis and PLR says that he is a reincarnation of Gucci and so on and so forth, right? So the story continues. Now, moving ahead.
Deepa, I have a observation and maybe you can throw some light around that.
Okay, sure, Jimmy.
I'm just trying to figure out how his parents are able to break that conformist attitude. Because if you look at typical Indian household, if a boy comes in with this kind of a creativity, people say you focus on what you're supposed to do, तो पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दे, ये सब मत कर. So his parents are able to break that conformist attitude ki as a child he must be doing this only, and they actually helped him to explore what he wanted to do.
The same thought, just to add to what Jimmy's saying, at this age, typically we don't let kids use a scissor, use a machine, a tailor machine, even just from the aspect of keeping them safe. We'd be like, no needles, no, nothing that is sharp, no cutting, no cloth, no fabric. It's wonderful that he's got an ecosystem which has supported his creativity.
So, to what I could make a sense from watching his videos is once he is never alone. An adult is always there next to him, and most of this cutting and the snipping work is done by his mom. And then he says, no, I want to set up the machine. So in fact, they had this a brand in US, they came in and they did his entire studio for him, which is the table, chair, and a sewing machine, and all is of accessible to a 9-year-old. So, I mean, I am assuming this is US or a Europe where they are great at marketing. And at the age of 9, he has his own website. Later on in the group, I will share. I mean, you just go and see the way, his parents has laid out his talent, and he does goes to school as well. So, Jimmy, if your question is, I don't know how the parents would have broken that conformist through. I guess they are simply very experimental. And like I said in the start, it's always an artist can only discover an artist. So it's his mom who has taken into stock that he loves fabrics. He started up by telling her ideas of styling. And then he's like, can I stitch something for you? Can I stitch something for my sister's doll? And that's where it all began. And thanks to COVID, where he was actually able to explore further. So, yeah. And at that age, I guess children are very experimental. Right? We put them through various classes. Like I have 2 children. So, okay, so you go to dance class, you go to karate, you explore what is it that you like. And for the fact, even art and drawing, to explore that side, then you realize, okay, certain things, this is art and drawing is not their creative aspect. Okay, they like dancing more. So trying to put their focus a bit more there. But very interesting perspective. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, and moving ahead to the next level, what is it that we can learn about creativity and innovation from children? Most of us, I mean, I'm sorry, again, I'm making an assumption that most of us here. So in the field of training, we have heard about, or even for that fact, when it comes to design thinking, have we heard about the marshmallow challenge, where there are 20 sticks of spaghetti, one tape, 1 yard of string, and one marshmallow. With the help of this 20 spaghetti sticks are nothing but those pasta sticks, teams have to create a bridge, and create a bridge in such a way that once these sticks are aligned, you need to balance a marshmallow on top of it, and the bridge should still be, the tower should still be stable. Okay. And this marshmallow challenge was being taken up as a challenge and as a research to various Fortune 500 companies across the world, the big fours, and so on and so forth. And what researchers saw a pattern was that with the top B school management trainees, right? So they are divided into groups of 4. Everybody is being given this challenge. In total 18 minutes of time, what adults did, or what these recent pasta graduates of the top B schools did, was they invested some time in orienting themselves that, okay, to understand what is the resources, what will be the designing of the tower or the bridge on the pen and paper. And they invested most of the time building that, okay, there is only one way to create this. Let's try to find a perfect way to balance a marshmallow on top of a tower. And just when there are last 30 seconds left, all they would do is, okay, time is going to be up. They just place the marshmallow on top of it, making it a so-called tada moment that, okay, it's done. Now, most often this tada moment is actually realized that, uh-oh, because the spaghetti tower falls off. It's not able to take the weight of the marshmallow. Now, marshmallow itself is very light, and spaghetti is much more lighter than that. Surprisingly, the same research, when it is done with kindergarten kids, okay, 4 to 5-year-olds, they are given the same challenge. They end up succeeding 99.9% of the time. These are recent kindergarten school graduates, along with the pictures of their different prototypes of spaghetti marshmallow challenge. And they are the ones that actually end up doing a tada, a happy, and a final moment. What do you think they are doing so differently than compared to the adults doing the same challenge? More educated, more knowledgeable, can think of more ideas. However, it is children who are actually more successful in completing this challenge and not adults.
Yeah, they are doing it for the sake of fun. They are having it for, and adults are, oh, we have to do this because we are asked to do this. We are supposed to make a perfect tower of it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Afreen.
They are fearlessly, open to experiment, ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं, ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं.
ऐसे नहीं कर सकते, ऐसे नहीं कर सकते. Very good. Thank you, Tulika. Anything. There was a common, I wouldn't say theme, but a common behavior that was observed when these children were doing these marshmallow challenge. Very naturally. That in the end, मुझे करना क्या है? Absolutely. Sarvinji is saying that in India, if the child reaches the age of board exams, there is a curfew atmosphere in household, not burdened by the urge of result. Okay. What researchers observed, thank you everyone for all your answers. What researchers observed was that when these children were doing, the first thing they did was they took a spaghetti and they stuck a marshmallow to it. And they started playing around. That in the end, if this is my spaghetti and this is how the marshmallow has to be balanced, can it take the weight? Second thing that they did was they did prototyping. After every 1 or 2 steps, see if it's still able to hold the marshmallow on top. Now, can we make the tower more bigger? Can we keep on doing prototyping? And something that I remember when I did my design thinking certification course back in 2016 or 17, I remember this statement, Jimmy, this was you, that in any projects that you do, it is better to fail early and fail fast. I don't know if that is the same thing for you as well. So whatever you may do, the moment you start failing early, the more faster you fail, the more early you will reach to your own result than waiting for the last moment and then putting the marshmallow, right? So here, one thing that we got to learn from kids is they love prototyping. They begin with so-called the end in the mind. And for them, even if it is a failure, they don't mind restarting it quickly. However, as adult mind, then there is a motivation theory that gets added, that how do we keep people motivated? Okay, so something to learn from children is don't quit on prototyping, fail early and fail fast. Okay. Now let's do an activity. I should have said this in the start, it just skipped from my mind. Do you have a pen and a paper handy? And if I were to give you the instruction that on this entire whole page, write letter A. Okay, write letter A on one full page. What would you do? What would be the final outcome? And I'll tell you where this is coming from as well. So this is on the final open house day of my son's kindergarten and senior, when he was in senior standard. I went along with him, and thank you Tulika, fantastic. तो तुलिका बहुत ही बढ़िया मास्टरपीस है ये, एंड मैं चाहती हूँ एक और बार दिखाएं आप स्क्रीन पे आपने ये क्या किया है. So
isn't she asking us to write one full page of A's in lines?
Thank you, Zoya. This is exactly what the teacher expected. कि जब मैं जोरावर को बोलती हूँ that Zoravar, you have to homework में करके आना है, that write letter A on one full page, she is expecting the child to write small and mama and baby letter A throughout the scaled page. And what
this is just experience from Sarah's nursery right now, so I think I that is why I think I could understand.
And this is exactly what my son did.
So my kids are grown up now, so abhi I forgot how to write A full page.
And I was like, so what happened? Why are you so furious? And she showed me the entire page, that when I asked Zoravar to write A on one full page, वो पूरे class के सामने मुझे ऐसे करके बताता है. He just doesn't listen. And I was like, but maybe he understood exactly how his mind perceived. कि एक full page पे A लिखो. So he wrote. But what her expectation was, Zoya, exactly like A, बच्चा पूरा एक page practice करेगा, right? Now again, of course, we are not looking at disciplining and okay, but maybe बच्चे को message समझ में नहीं आया, but that is their creative side of giving you an output. Okay, so this is.
Deepa, say hi to Zoravar. Say auntie is exactly like you.
मैंने इसलिए masterpiece कहा आपके काम को. I mean, kids do the darnest thing, and it's truly delight to sit and watch.
So, Deepa, perhaps this is what she meant on the right side. And this is what was understood by the kid.
Absolutely, Arvind ji. क्या आपने मेहनत की है? Very nice, thank you. And I'm sure doing the one whole page of A was doing much more fun, right? Okay. Now, what do you see on screen is a chair. ठीक है? I'm assuming right now you're also sitting on a chair. If I tell you as an adult that let's say you are in a room and there is a chair और कुछ नहीं है, TV नहीं है, whiteboard नहीं है, marker नहीं है, what all do you think you could do with a chair? If I leave just a chair as a prop with a room full of adults and ask them to come up with a creative idea, which I have done in my sessions as well. For the first 3 to 4 minutes, everybody is blank looking at the chair. Kiska karna kya hai? Absolutely.
I'll sit on it. I'll stand on it. I'll keep it on my head.
Okay, you sit on it, stand on it, keeping on the head. Very good.
You can make a fort out of it, sit under it also.
Yeah.
Chair,
the-
catch up on the messages. Yeah, sit on the chair, catch up on the messages. Some intellectual soul will say, ये नेता की कुर्सी है, ये तो मैं नहीं छोड़ूंगा. I am not going to leave my spot. Right?
We can use it as a tunnel. My son uses it as a tunnel, to play around with it.
Absolutely. Now look at this. Adults को लगता है क्या है? It is just a chair. Why? Because we are thinking from a very logical aspect कि chair है, इसका करना क्या है? Now what do you think will happen if I leave couple of kids and one chair as a prop?
They will make fun and
they will have blast of their time. They will have so much of fun. And these are my few observations. Of course, few आप लोग ने बताए भी हैं. Thanks for that inner child in you still being alive. They make chair act like a bike. 1-seater, 2-seater. Okay. They reverse it. They make it like a tent. They display बनाते हैं उसका that I have opened up a shop now एक एक करके मेरे दुकान से आओ कुछ खरीदने. They rearrange and drive it like a car. They use it as a trolley to carry something which is heavy. Okay. They use it as a dance prop. Last but not the least, they request for a few more chairs and can they play a musical chair? As adults, somewhere we have just put ourselves in those boxes. Yes, Usha, it's a den, it's a fort, it's a castle, it's an ice cream parlor for your... Absolutely. I mean, for them, you give them anything and they are like so happy and their creative side gets enhanced. My children ended up using like a tent. Kursi bhi nahi hai, mama, ek aur chadar bhi de do. They are doing tent thing, they are playing dinosaur games. And here you feel as a parent that, okay, no, I don't know, मुझे कौन सा ही महंगा toy अपने बच्चे को लेके देना है, just to keep them occupied, right? So, ground reality is this. Something happens while we are children till the time we become an adult. The ground reality is बच्चों में curiosity होती है. And the curiosity is the Q factor. But why? They question everything. ये क्या है, वो क्या है, ये ऐसे क्यों है, ये क्या है, right? And I don't know how much of the data and the statistics is right, but do you have any idea how many questions children end up asking in one day? I'm sure the number goes in thousands. Okay. The ground reality, one is curiosity, the Q factor. Second is the chalta hai attitude. Now the chalta hai attitude, not the one in which adults are like, kya farak padta hai, chalta hai, no. The chalta hai attitude here is, so what if I have failed? फिर से शुरुआत करते हैं. Let's try it this way. So, it's like when you open a new game box and as parents, you are busy reading the instructions, किसको क्या खेलते हैं. As a parent, I end up reading the instructions while children have opened the kit, distributed the card, rolled the dice already. अच्छा मम्मी बताओ भी करना क्या है. ठीक है ना, चलता है, no problem. Next, let's move on. Let's enjoy the outcome. Let's enjoy the process. The third is collaboration. मिलकर बनाएंगे. I have never seen any child sitting in silos के नहीं अकेला मेरा मुझे बनाना है. My younger son will sit to make 1 level, 2 level of Jenga. Third is like, Manu, come now with me. They ask for interaction very playfully, and I've always seen other children also coming and participating with equal energy and happiness. That something different, something nice will come out of it. And the Indian advantage, here we look at doing the jugaad, matlab not quick fixes or the problem solver, but the jugaad 2.0. Sometimes you are surprised with the life problems or the challenges that you're facing. You ask an adult, the answer is different, and you ask a child and they're like, oh mama, it is not a big problem, simple. Isko aise kar dete hain. And you're like, oh my God, how do you get it? Because I don't know what box we have put our mind into. And in the final conclusion is they embrace the child within. Maybe they don't know yet that they are an adult. And they wonder with those curious eyes, they look at us when I say, koi baat nahi beta, jab tak bachpana enjoy karo, ek bar bade ho jaoge to pata chalega what is life, right? So if I were to ask you that what can we learn from their world, what is it that you get to learn? So for me, what I get to learn from the children as a mother, as a facilitator that I have seen and interacting with these kids. Number one, their world is very magical. Everything is possible in their world, right? They believe in magic, they believe in possibility, and by default, their hearts are very big. Okay, they have very big heart. Their heart is loaded with empathy. Now, when we look at design thinking, we say, right, empathy is the core, the end user, the customer is the core. So a very small incident story, I guess this was an ad commercial that I had seen a couple of years back. And in this ad, there is this child who wants to switch on the TV and the TV is not switching on. So the father comes to rescue. That, hey Mike, what happened? Why you're not able to start the TV? So he does, remote ko leke aise ke chal kyun nahi raha hai, remote khol ke batteries change karta, doesn't work. And for some reason, the father sees that, maybe let me open up the TV and see if there's something, wire has snapped or something, let me fix. Now, when the father opens up the television set, he sees breadcrumbs, jam butter lage hue, bahut sare breadcrumbs TV ke andar fit kiye hue. And he's wondering that we are giving you bread, butter, and jam to eat, and you are loading them in the TV. I mean, why did you put only in the TV? तुम dustbin में भी फेंक सकते थे, तुम सोफे में भी कहीं फेंक सकते थे. Why did you put it in the TV? But then, no, Daddy, I was watching on TV where there was this little child who was hungry. The outlook and the entire this was free, that there is no food for the baby. So I was eating bread, butter, jam. So I thought if I put it in the TV, the other child on the screen will receive it. And he stuffed so much of bread in it that finally the TV didn't work. Look at the, I would say, purity, the empathy, a weird possibility that there's enough for everyone. And by default, their nature is very helpful. They believe in the magic. They have a big heart, which is loaded with empathy. Last but not the least, what I would like to say is, for us as parents, as uncles and aunts of children, you need to rediscover your creative confidence. Not every individual is born creative and you can't force someone. However, these are skills that can be learned. And for some people, it's about rediscovering the creative confidence. What hampers this confidence is the fear as adults. और ये कौन से fear होते हैं? Fear of taking the first step. This is the fear of the unknown, fear of losing the control. So focus on creative thinking side is what is, I would like to say, is what we can learn from children, right? So what is it that we can learn from their world is, one, believe in magic, that the world is magical, and second, have your heart filled with loads and loads of empathy. And these are the two things that I would like to summarize from as to what is it that we can learn from children in terms of creativity at its best. We are open for any discussion or questions, any thoughts that anyone would like to share.
Thank you, Deepa. It was such a lovely session that we all are like thinking now what new we can learn from our kids. And I would like to tell you that my son never comes in when I'm here in the meeting. He has an understanding, yeah, and he was having a curiosity to peek in what is going on over here.
I saw it.
Yeah. He came twice, and the second time I said, please go outside. Then he. So it is like.
Thank you. Lovely.
Thank you.
So
yeah, and
I hope I
anyone
was
is
able
having any
to
questions?
rekindle that creative, that little child inside you. It is, I did when I was creating the content. I was like, kahan reh gaya ye sab? Right? Greeting cards tak banate banate khatam ho gayi sari artistic, but that's more artistic creativity anyway. Any thoughts? How are you feeling after?
Hi, Deepa. Kalyani this side.
Kalyani.
So great
And actually, I was in kids' play area only. So this was, I think, the area where they were playing. My son was playing, and where means we can see a lot of innovation and the things they will be doing. So this was, I think, best place to hear your session also. And
Nice
today only.
chosen, Kalyani.
Yeah, yeah. So generally, most of the time, Saturday means I will be with my son in play area. So if it is design thinking course or any of the course, Saturday mostly I will be attending from play area only. So once I was making some drawing on like a sand only. So it was nice to hear. And today also we had PTM, parent teacher meeting. So where they were showing us the mark sheets and all. So what we could understand, like my son is more interested in logical things, story things, paragraph writing, all those things. He's just 6 years old. So grade one. So they were saying, no, he's not sitting at one place. I told he's more interested in sports activity. If they will be giving him, if any activity, project work or creativity, he will take any sheet and he will make laptop, keyboard, all those things, different things. With matchboxes, he will make trains. He will break his toys and make his own new toy, like mixture of truck, bus, everything he will be doing. So he's more interested in those things. So as a parent, we have to understand where their interest lies, and if we can support them, not to just focus on their grades and all those things, why he's not learning these things, and why he's doing good in some or other things, like. So as a parent, we have to understand. So you rightly said that only artists can recognize, but here also as a like layman's thing also, we can understand where our kids, they are more interested and where we have to support them. So if they're more interested in sports, from this time only we have to give them all the opportunity so that they can learn and explore and they can do it better.
Wonderful. So that's
Thank
exactly, it's a long process to
I,
continue.
sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
Satish.
So, couple of things. I mean, I think some of us are in the corporate world. I think you've also been there. Am I audible? I'm
Yes.
driving.
You
Yeah.
can.
Okay. So, no, couple of observations. One is that there is a cultural peculiarity within the developed and the developing world. Now, we've been left by the British with 0.02, I think, contribution to the GDP of the world, whereas when they came in, we were 23%. And what you see is a battle for survival for 70-80% of the people in India. And mostly in Africa, barring South Africa. Now, when there are higher thoughts in terms of how to inculcate a children's kind of behavior, from a developed country point of view, they have elevated to their levels of, abundance of wealth and, the kind of knowledge and things they have. In India, particularly, I think it's a 70-80% people are grappling with how to build up assets. These finer things kind of get lost if you look at the average middle class.
Right.
The job of the private sector or the government is hence much more involving to create that culture. But looking at the corporates, today I'm in the, I think, 11th, 12th company that I am. The focus is not so much there, but more so to get into higher growth, which means higher profitability. To my sense, hence the long unwinding thing that I'm saying is that these finer aspects of thoughts, I think, more apply to a developed world, wherein they don't have struggles for survival. But more for developing world, I think, I don't know, answers are for everybody to think. I hope you get the drift of what I'm saying. I don't know.
Absolutely. So unless and until someone is fighting for the basic need, how can you reach to that level where you want to thrive and survive on being creative, right? I get what you're saying. However, better solutions can come up, right? If we still keep that creative streak or spark alive. You can just make an attempt.
If you look at some organizations from the West, like multinationals, HP or some, I find a huge amount of cultural, connect there where they encourage,
Yes.
people to explore. There are many organizations around the world, and so much more to do with the West rather than in India. I mean, I'm in India. I don't know whether any organization has a cultural, openness about building up, mad house
Correct.
wherein they can become kids but you have a huge amount of, you can see brainstorming sessions in the company, some of progressive unicorns from the Silicon Valley, wherein they open up. They have those, breakout sessions, or they have open workspaces. We find that very, very, maybe Infosys may be having one in Bangalore, I don't know, but I not studied that company. But to my mind, to apply a kid's kind of a mad process, I would call it mad for lack of a better word. I think
Right.
it's important that we inculcate that culture even in those corporate circles. But otherwise, it's just talk. Otherwise, in India predominantly, because looking at the way the people are, and they're looking at a lot of things, these finer aspects of building up creativity. They just get lost at post their college. They're fighting for a job. I look at the kids today. They're looking at building up money, building up assets, and retiring at 40, 45. All these things, they just want a bridge to go there. So it's a different stage of life where in India we are right now. I may sound pessimistic, but there we have to, I think, build up my whole point is to build up a culture
Right.
of creativity and build in that empathy.
So
The word empathy was very important, which you used, because I don't think we have empathy. एक गाड़ी दूसरे को टक्कर मारती है, वो बोलते नहीं मैं fault में नहीं था, तुम ही fault में थे. So he wants to put it on the other person. So empathy, I think, is a critical factor, which we, I think, are beginning to lose.
All right. So I guess it has to be in a design. And Satish, as you were speaking, the way I look at applying it at a country level, it is still a very bigger game. It has to start from at a very ground level, right? So I do a lot of work with MBFCs, and a typical MBFC is like, there's a recovery, there is this, there is that, versus there is this company. I was trying to go through my WhatsApp and figure out the name, going to both the clients' places. So one is a typical MBFC that is there, and then these are called as white bricks or first bricks. They have their offices innovative, and the culture itself in that place, everybody has, they say that we have no stress working here. There is no stress, no politics, absolutely, a creative space for brainstorming, thriving. They work entirely differently. And when you go and meet those people, you feel that, oh my God, there is so much of positivity in the place. So 3 things that, organizations, I was reading the HBR article as well on creativity at workplace. There are 3 elements that form a triangle. One is the expertise to do the job. Second is the creative thinking skills. And third is continuing to motivate people to find out what they are passionate about while they are at work. Really brings out the creative skills at workplace. And I somewhere see that could be an underlying application for this organization as well. Once the name clears out, I'll probably put that in the group. It's just even fun to explore how their offices are made and how they work in structure. And there is zero attrition in the organization. We don't want to leave. There is so much of stress in other MBFCs. Hum ye chhod ke kyun jayenge? I guess when a culture in an organization is like this, what else do you want? Then you don't need R&Rs, you don't need award nights, because the culture itself is making people thrive.
Yeah, that's a fantastic example. Yeah, great. That's what I was trying to hone in the point. But you can say about one company in NBFC, and you know it. You've worked in NBFC. How much? 0.2% the banks and other sectors in the same space. Now, if you have a company which is thriving on creativity in that sector, it's kudos to them to build up that culture.
Yeah.
But how many companies do we have who do that, even in other sectors? That is the larger question.
The larger question, correct.
Can I respond to that, Deepa?
Sure, Jimmy.
Okay, Satish, couple of things. When you say that, how about empathy? How about taking care of what we are doing? I think the bottom line is it begins at me, which means as a parent, we need to ask ourselves what kind of point of view we have towards our own children. And that's where maybe the shift will begin. If you see historically, I tend to agree to what you're saying, but if you see the current generation of the people who are at the helm of the affairs in the corporates, the culture is so different, very, very different. They incentivize mistakes, not like the olden days wherein if you make a mistake, you're absolutely reprimanded. In fact, the entire and that's probably the challenge wherein people who are in the system for some time are finding it difficult to cope with the newcomers, with the Gen Z, what we typically say now, because they come with an absolute different mindset. I don't remember a time wherein I could think of leaving my job before I could have another appointment letter in my pocket. It's a very simple, very basic and a simple example. But today, the children say that I'm taking a break. So as far as the organizational culture is concerned, I can certainly tell you there is a lot of difference from what it was and what it is today, but a lot of work needs to be done. Now think of another 5-10 years down the line. All the people who come from the old school of thought would have retired. All the new positions would have been occupied by the newbies at that point of time, and it's beginning already. But you will see able to see the domino effect only the next 8-10 years. And then what we also, as I said, as a parent, what we need to look at is, do we continue to do what we were doing and keep on blaming that I'll have to focus on roti kapda or makan, or we also look at start doing something else. I have a contra view to what you just said. Necessity is the mother of invention. The more stressed we are, we start looking for those jugards or finding something new or something different. But very, very rightly said that most of us do get caught into it. And maybe a session like this is just an attempt to make you conscious that there is a life beyond roti or kapda makan as well. And if not something, at least be aware that we could create a better tomorrow. So that's my
Yeah, fantastic, Jimmy. I think
sense.
that echoed it very much right. No, my point is very simply this, that this thought is beautiful and very nice what Deepa presented. The only thing is that how do we get the more people in India to embrace it,
अपने
to
को कुछ
allow
नहीं
it?
करना है. Forget about everybody else. हम कर रहे हैं क्या? Are you doing it is the question. If each one of us is
Yes.
doing it, that's it. That's what I
See,
feel.
at my workplace, my team, it's always fun. It's always explore, jo galti karo. In fact, I told one of the guys that she was very scared. I said, ऐसा है कुछ गलती हो किसी ने कुछ कहा ना बोला सतीश सत्तू से बात करो मेरा बॉस है. But that's not the point. Point is
So we can't.
I said ये experiment. गलती करोगी कोई problem नहीं है. सीखोगी दूसरों को भी सिखाओ. But the fact of the matter is, she said she's worked with 3-4 of them there within the company itself. She said nobody gave this much of liberty. Now I'm not going to praise myself. That's not the point. Point is, this brought me to an aspect which she said that these things are very important for creativity. But organizations have to embrace it. That's my basic point.
Yeah.
That they have to inculcate that. And that's what
So let's not worry about the organization. Let's worry about us. And each one of us, the way we are worried about us, it will automatically bring that transformation over a period of time.
Right, Chief?
Thank you.
Thank you. Arvind ji wanted to say something.
To say something. In fact, there was an urgent call from Yardley which came. So I have to attend to that call. That's it.
Okay. So before you leave, can we have like put everyone on the camera and we can have a screenshot of our session here? Can we do that? Yes. Please put on your cameras, everyone. Yes.
Yes, the cameras are on.
Usha, Avinash, Zoya. Please put on your cameras and so that we can have a screenshot and then we can end the session.
Yes.
Zoya. Let's do it.
You are making a tunnel of the chair.
Sir? Now, sir is. Yes. Usha is missing. Shall we wait for her? Go ahead. Shall we go ahead? One, two, three. Say cheese.
Cheese.
Wonderful. Oh, here you are. Wait.
Let's say cheese once more.
1, 2, 3, go.
Cheese.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all.
Good. And thank you, Deepa, for the wonderful session.
Thank you, Arvind. Hi, Prashant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Abhiraj. Thank you, Kalyani. Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you
everyone.
all.
Bye, Usha.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Listen to
Yes,
as well.
Bye, everyone.
Zoya.
Great weekend and
Just
very
listen to the entire session sitting next to me.
Yeah, okay.
happy.
Wonderful.
Right. Thank
Bye.
you, everyone. Bye.
Have a lovely weekend ahead. Bye.
Bye. Happy Diwali as well.
Happy Diwali. Bye-bye.
Thank you.